We are not very good interviewees.
This will be the best interview.
As long as you
ever.
ask questions, we'll answer.
Okay, well, I want to know. Elaine said that you brought the most amount of vinyl he's ever seen in one suitcase. So I want to know what records you brought.
Classics, all these 50s country, Patsy Cline, all the kind of shit that you don't find in Europe, especially not for a buck.
Yeah.
Some Talking Heads, Canned Heat, all these stuff that Lawrence Velk.
Really?
Yeah, really. Easy listening that you sell for $1 and we sell it for 20 euros because it's fashionable, because it comes from the United States of America.
Well, we're the opposite. That I did have a question actually. Like, okay, so working in an arts field here, I kind of did it by accident. Like, I didn't finish school or do any of that kind of stuff. So I feel like I always have to like trick people to come here because it's art, And so I'm like, they're smashing the stage and you can drink beers and like you should totally go. But I wonder like how different that is in France. Like, do you feel like you have to like trick people because your show is super entertaining, but it's also super like intellectual as well? So I feel like I have to like get people in the door and then they can start thinking about it. And I'm just curious if it's kind of the same.
That's a very good question.
I guess it is.
Yeah,
like, it's luckily for me, it's not our job to do this. It's more like the job of the people who invite us, and it's good for everyone because I won't be really good at.
You'll be like, don't go there.
In Avignon they rent Cadillacs.
They do.
And they just fly around singing songs and whatnot. But we never did that kind of stuff. We never had to because we're so lucky that in Europe the venues are organizing this. They have loads of people to do that. But sometimes they fail. We faced, it happened to face empty venues in the beginning. But
plus they are always complaining because we don't provide them with sexy materials hey, come see our shows, we will have fun. No, we usually do like interviews and then I'm not so happy with what we did, but you can come and check for yourself.
Yeah. Plus, we're not that much into the social study and the workshops things, mostly because we have no skills to share, except saying to people, you can do it, it's easy, requires just a lot of heart and some work.
Do you feel like you did it just to like see what would happen, or are you like thinking about, who's gonna watch this and we have like a message or something like that? Or are you just like, let's see what we're gonna make?
No, we just try to do to mention. I won't be able to finish that sentence, so I'm gonna dump it. But we just try to do pieces that we'd like to see as an audience. It was a citation.
But then again, we are very empathetic, and we tend to be, when we think about a piece that we want to write, we tend to think a lot about the way it's going to be seen, because we like we are very much audience focused. We consider that we are visual artists that use the stage as a very powerful tool, and the stage audience relationship that is a very powerful contract, and we try to twist it and bend it the way we like it. But still, we will never write something thinking, fuck it, and let's, they'll deal with it. That doesn't work for us, which doesn't make us, less experimental in the way we tend to deal with things. But we do tryouts, we test things on each other and on other people, on panels, whatever.
Yeah. I thought, because I watched some of the things that you did where on those bonjour concerts where you're like, you're kind of like making friends. My French is pretty bad, but I can understand a little. But it's like you're rock and roll and dance are making friends. And
there's actually an English version on the web. Yeah. I should mention it. Oh. You see, that's us sucking at providing good material for people.
Yeah, I can use
This is totally my fault, but okay. So, but you figured it out.
Sort of. But it did seem like you were, like, within, like, the art genre, at least, it's like, people, like, fight and they're like, like, like rock and roll people don't come to see art, like, and it's hard to like cross over. So it was very like sympathetic.
It's not exactly that. I'm impersonating in that piece, which is actually a fake series of ads aimed at promoting contemporary dance. So that's how I sold it, and it eventually ended up on TV, which was super weird. But the aim is to oppose two cultural genres that are the rock and roll concert, not rock and roll or the rock and roll band, but the rock concert as a cultural event, and the contemporary dance piece, which I am impersonating.
Yeah, you did a good job.
Yeah, very in a very snobby, posh
That was impressive.
thing. But and we face difficulties with friends, as in the Mac PC campaign. We are friends, but we can't really relate to each other because we're so different. He smoked for 50 years and he cannot stop, so that's why he's smelly and shit. But I never did, and I'm so thin and bright, nice and opened, which is not. Well, the piece was about that. What was your question?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But that was good. Good answer.
Are we fighting for a better penetration of art in the society? Was it kind
I guess. That's
yeah,
kind of, I did get that.
Yeah, we are good soldiers.
I don't know if we are like fighting, like we're not fighting with actual weapons. I mean, we are not. Comment dire revendiquer? We are not claiming, political statement, but we are kind of living it. I think naturally. It's also related to our own experiences as a spectator. So we like. I like things to be accessible or relaxed in a way.
But still, you like it weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can be. Yeah.
It was super cool. I mean, I think it's not. I guess I have the same problem like in my job. Like I feel like I have a lot of friends who like go and see rock and roll or they go see this and that. But if I'm like, oh, it's in a theater, they're like, yes. And some of the audience here like kind of like perpetuates that because they're like, it is art and you wouldn't understand.
But I can totally understand it. I mean, 8 pieces of in a theater, 8 pieces out of 10 that I see is like really super boring.
Yeah, but then again, the fact that we are involved in that milieu now makes us better spectators. I mean, as an audience, I grew up with that. We have no past in the theater. We do not originate from that place, and we didn't watch that much theater. We are more like into the dance scene, I guess, which was more opened in the 90s and early 2000 in France. So they invited us over, and they tend to be sexier and to attract the rock and roll audience a lot. I don't know why, by the way, but still it does work. And also because it's linked with the performance scene, which we kind of belong to. But it educated us into being a better audience with theater. I'm more sympathetic with theater now because I can see, I can appreciate other things like the set is great. I like this piece. The set is great. Or the actors are doing a great job considering this lousy text. Or the text is fantastic, but they just murdered it, fuckers. But still, it's a great text, and I'm happy to see it.
How did you guys start working together? Was that boring?
Working?
Yeah.
Well, we started to party, but then working.
We were living in the same house, and we just met in the attic and started to
do weird shit.
Do weird shit.
Without anybody looking, then friends looking, then not so close friends looking.
Friends, yeah.
Then we did it without being drunk, without drugs. Then with
then
friends, without drugs, and some money. Then
it was wild.
In the park, then in a theater with money, and then bigger theaters, and then. But it was really a soft curve.
How is it then, like, coming from that background? Is it weird to be like in? I only have like experience here, so I don't know how it is in Europe. But is it like weird being in like suddenly it's more now you're in a theater, or does it like?
As he said, it was really a slow process. So you know, it wasn't so weird at each step. Well, each time, like each year, we were like, "Woo! We have like 100 euros, 100 years! Yay! It's getting better."
Yeah.
And so yes, it was a slow process.
But yeah, plus we are so happy that it's our job. I mean, the great thing is that we don't have a day job.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's possible. You can not have a day job and do some theater, which is something that weirds us really here. The fact that in America it's so hard and people have to struggle so much to get a career going on because either they left their day job, either they leave their day job and they tour, or they just struggle locally to get a gig.
It's hard. That was pretty good. I think we got a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Thanks, you guys.
Thanks, great questions.
Yeah.
I mean,
That
so
was
good.
the-
I mean, can we keep you with us for the next interviews instead of getting where does the title originate from?
I know. Where do
question?
you get your ideas?
Yeah. Does it stop running?
Oh yeah, sorry.